Hello and welcome to another edition of the Book Review blog. I am your book reviewer, and today we're going to review the audiobook Look Me in the Eye by John Elder Robison. And this actual official title, or the length title, is Look Me in the Eye, My Life with Asperger's. And that second part is what drove me to the book, and because I hope to be a special education teacher one day, and I want to read up on anything that has to do with special education. And I found this book in kind of the biography section, so I figured, okay, this would be a really good opportunity to see what it's like for a person with Asperger's syndrome, or more generally autism, which for those who don't know, that's what Asperger's is. It's a form of autism. It's on the higher end of autism. Usually people with Asperger's are very bright, and they're usually average to above average in intelligence, but like autism, they do not have proper social skills, or they do not know how to interact socially with people, and they may have other things that make them different, and that kind of deal with coping with situations that they don't like. These are especially, like I said, social situations. So, again, this deals with the author John Elder Robison, who lived in Western Massachusetts for most of his life. His father was a college professor, and his mother was a stay-at-home mom, according to him. And he was born, my guess is he's about the same age as my parents. He was born in probably the late 50s, and but it doesn't say when his birthday was exactly. But he lives with his parents, and they are just kind of happy to be there when he's born and when he's as a young child. And his parents are just very doubtful on him, and they kind of explain to him what's going on. And the way that he says it, I think his parents and his immediate family know that there's something wrong with him, but they're not sure what it is. And they just, of course, love him dearly, and they just want to give him the best opportunity they can. And so he goes through his childhood, and he remarks that he doesn't know how to name things properly, or he has different names for things. An example, as a child, the first things that you notice is that he has a dog who is a poodle, and instead of giving this dog a normal name that you give a dog, or any other name, he calls him Poodle. And so, because in his mind that's what it is, so that's what I'm going to name him. And he has other names for that, like his bears, he names Bear or Little Bear and things like that. And then when he is about 6 or 7, his parents have another son, and his brother's birth name is Christopher, but John doesn't call him Christopher. At the beginning of his brother's life, he calls him Snort. And because in his mind he heard his brother snorting, and that's what he decided to call him. And he was constantly corrected by his mother and father, saying, no, John Elder, which is what his parents called him, was John Elder. They're like, no, his name is not Snort, his name is Christopher, you will call him Christopher. But in his mind, he's always known as Snort. And unfortunately, by the birth of his brother, his parents' marriage is kind of disintegrating. His father is still a college professor, but he has developed a drinking problem where he's labeled an alcoholic. And his mother, John Elder, later realizes that she suffers from kind of schizophrenia and manic depression, where she just kind of goes off and starts and goes into the communes and lives with other people and is just thinks that the world is against her, and thinks that John Elder and his brother all need help, and so she takes him to different psychiatrists, where they think he's different, but they don't know what's wrong with him, and unfortunately, this feeling different, which he knows that he is, affects John's social situation and social standings, which I've explained before, where he's not accepted by his peers. He's accepted by adults, but they more think that he's cute and that he his little social like foibles where he concentrates on one thing and doesn't answer them proper, or like in an answer kind of way. Like an example would be maybe like, oh, if an adult was saying, oh, something comic like, oh, are you going to play with your trucks or something, and then John doesn't talk about his truck that he's talking about. He may be talking about trains, or he may be talking about the weather or something. That's something that he knows in his head to talk about, but they don't match with the normal social conversation that he was supposed to have. So, but then he progresses through life where his father's company or his father's schools move him to Western Massachusetts, as I said, and he spends along with that he spends time in Georgia visiting his grandparents, which he loves. John Elder does love his grandparents and loves spending time with them on their farm and things like that. So he does go on to middle school and eventually to high school, and through his middle school and high school careers, he does meet other characters who he has, like kind of Poodle and Snort for Christopher. He does have other names for them. One character that kind of pops up a lot is a girl, and I don't know if we ever learned her actual name, but he calls her Little Bear. And just, again, because something peculiar perplexed him that she seemed rare, so that's what the name that he gave her. And, but unfortunately, even though John Elder has difficulty in school, where he's not able to concentrate because of the work that's being done, and because he obviously gets bored a lot because he knows the material, but has trouble communicating and things like that. So he ends up dropping out of school at, I believe, the age of 15 or 16, and goes off into the real world. And he just leaves his parents and goes off on his own. But by this time, his parents are so wrapped up in their own troubled lives that they just kind of don't realize that he's gone, or just kind of accept that he's left at such a young age. So one of the things that John is really interested in is technology and kind of technics. And so this is kind of the early 70s, and he gets in touch with, like through connections and different jobs that he's had that he's not able to keep because of his boredom and what he thinks is that he's too skillful for the jobs. He does end up repairing guitars and things like that for different small rock bands in the area, and which leads him down the road to end up on a Kiss tour, which is kind of exciting. And he really gets involved and really befriends Ace Frehley from Kiss, and he fixes guitars for him and makes them all kind of different things. Like one guitar, I think he puts like fireworks into it that when Ace strums it, it makes all these loud popping noises and things like that. So that's kind of where his life leads him for a brief moment or brief time as Kiss tours. But then eventually Kiss ends the tour and he is not needed anymore. And what ends up happening is he meets up again with the character of Little Bear, and they end up getting married, and they have a son who, it's kind of cute that his birth name is Jack, but John Elder, of course, names him Cubby, because he figures, okay, it's the son of Little Bear, so a son of a bear or a child of a bear is a cub, so Cubby. And it's just a nice, cute story, and it's, again, it's a really good book to know the insides of somebody who has Asperger's syndrome. And what I've read about as Asperger's, it's very kind of true to life, and it's very familiar, so I enjoyed the book wholeheartedly because of that. The next book that I'm going to read is another audiobook. It is the popular Go Ask Alice by Anonymous, and that's the one I'm going to read for next time. And so I bid you all a happy day and happy reading.